Imagine you've collected all your research data, entered it into SPSS, and you're finally ready to analyze it. Then your supervisor asks, what's the average? It sounds like a simple question, but statistics tells us it isn't. There isn't just one type of average. Depending on your data, the mean, median, or mode may be the most appropriate measure to use, and choosing the wrong one can lead to misleading conclusions. In today's lesson, we will explore these three measures of central tendency. I'll explain what each one means, when to use it, and how to calculate and interpret it using SPSS. And by the end of this lesson, you will know how to choose the right measure of central tendency for your data and confidently apply it in your own research. Imagine we begin, let me tell you exactly what you will gain from today's lesson. First, you will understand what each of the three measures of central tendency actually represent. And instead of memorizing definitions, you will learn the purpose behind each one. Next, we will compare the mean, the median, and the mode so that you can recognize the situations where each provides the most accurate summary of your data. We will then move into SPSS together and calculate all three using our research dataset. And finally, we will interpret the result the same way you would in a dissertation, journal article, or professional report. And if you've ever been unsure which average to report, today's lesson will answer that question. Every research project should begin with a clear objective, and today's mission has 4 simple steps. We will begin by understanding what measures of central tendency are and why researchers use them. From there, we will compare the mean, the median, and the mode so you can appreciate the strength of each measure. And once we've built that understanding, we will calculate these statistics using SPSS and then learn how to interpret the output professionally rather than simply reporting numbers. And throughout the lesson, keep asking yourself one question: which measure best represents my data? And that mindset will help you think like a researcher rather than someone who is simply following software instructions. So I want us to put ourselves in a realistic research situation. Imagine you are investigating the academic performance of 500 university students, and after collecting their GPA data through questionnaires or institutional records, you've entered everything into SPSS and your dataset is ready for analysis. Your supervisor reviews the work and asks, what's the average GPA of the student in your study? At that moment, you have an important decision to make. Should you calculate the mean? Would the mean give a better summary? Or is the mode the most appropriate measure? Answering this question correctly is exactly what this lesson is designed to help you do. Large datasets often contain hundreds or even thousands of individual values. Listing every single number in a research report wouldn't help readers understand the findings. Instead, researchers summarize information using descriptive statistics. Measures of central tendency allows us to take a large collection of observations and represent them with a value that reflects the center of the data. Think of it as creating a snapshot of your dataset. Rather than asking someone to examine every individual response, you are providing a concise summary that communicates the overall pattern quickly and effectively. That's why averages appear in almost every research paper, dissertation, and statistical report. Although we often use the word average in everyday conversation, statistics gives us 3 different ways of describing the center of a dataset. The first is the mean, sometimes called the arithmetic average, which considers every value in the dataset, making it a powerful summary when the data are balanced and free from unusual values. The second is the median, which identifies the middle observation after arranging the data in order because it depends on the position rather than the size of every value. It performs much better when the data contain unusually high or low observations. And finally, there is the mode, which simply identifies the value that occurs most frequently. It's particularly useful when analyzing responses such as the most common age group, product choice, or survey response. And each of these measures answers the same question in a different way, and choosing the right one depends on the characteristics of your data rather than personal preference. To understand why researchers don't always report the mean, let's compare 2 simple data sets, A and B. In the first example, the values are evenly distributed, and since there are no extreme observations, the mean provides a reliable summary of the center. Now notice what happens when we introduce one unusually large value into the second data set, which is the B. That single observation pulls the mean away from the rest of the data, even though most of the observations haven't changed. The median, however, remains close to the center because it focuses on the middle position rather than the size of every value. The mode also remains unchanged if the most frequent value hasn't changed. So this example illustrates an important principle in statistics. Before choosing an average, you always examine the distribution of your data. And this one habit will make you a stronger researcher than simply knowing where to click in SPSS. Always begin with a research question. Ask yourself, what are you trying to discover? Next, identify the variable that contains the information you need. Then consider the type of data you are analyzing because that determines which statistical techniques are appropriate. And only after making those decisions should you select the statistic that best answers your question, and finally use SPSS to perform the calculation. Software performs calculations remarkably well, but it cannot decide whether the analysis you've chosen is appropriate, and that responsibility always belongs to the researcher. So we've now established why measures of central tendency are important and how each one serves a different purpose. Rather than spending more time discussing theory, let's put these ideas into practice. We will open SPSS, work with our research dataset, and calculate the mean, the median, and the mode together. And as we move through each step, I will explain not only what we are doing, but why we are doing it, how to interpret the result, and the common mistakes beginners should avoid. Remember, our objective isn't simply to generate output, it's to produce findings that accurately represent our data and communicate them with confidence. Let's open SPSS and begin. So now that we understand the difference between mean, median, and mode, let's calculate all three using SPSS. And we will continue using the same research data set we've been working with throughout this series. And in this example, we will calculate the measures of central tendency for the student GPA. So this is our student GPA column. And the first thing we need to do is to open the procedure that allows SPSS to calculate these statistics. And since today's lesson is about describing our data rather than comparing groups or testing hypotheses, we will begin under the Analyze menu. And you know that this section contains several procedures used to summarize data before carrying out more advanced statistical analysis. And when we check the descriptive statistics, we have what? Frequencies. And even though the name suggests counting responses, this procedure can also calculate the mean, median, and mode. So I'm going to hit on that. Then you see the frequency dialog box, okay? And we are interested in the GPA of the student. So I'll click on the current, breakpoint average and move it into the variables section. And instead of running the analysis immediately, we first need to tell SPSS which statistics we want it to calculate. So we're going to click on the statistics. And under central tendency section, we've got the mean, median, and mode. So we're going to click on it just to check that. And once we're done, we hit on continue and it takes us back to our frequencies, dialog box window. And I will just hit on what? Okay. But if I hit on OK now, it will display the frequency table. So I want us to remove that. So I'm going to untick that or uncheck that. So now everything is ready. We've selected the variable we want and we've chosen the statistics we want as well. And we've also removed unnecessary, frequency table. Now it's time to generate the results. So I'm going to click on OK and SPSS will begin to, process that for us. So I want us to interpret what we have produced just now. The first value we see are the three measures of central tendency, okay? And rather than simply reading the numbers, let's understand what each one tells us. So I'm going to look at the mean. And this is the arithmetic average of all the GPA values in our data set. An SPS is calculated by adding every GPA together and dividing by the total number of students. And in our case, the number of valid cases is 10. We don't have any missing value. And because every value contributes to the calculation, the mean is usually the best choice when the data are fairly balanced. Now, I want us to look at the median. And this is the middle GPA after arranging all the observations from the smallest to the largest. And half of the students recorded below this value, while the other half scored above it. So one advantage of the median is that it isn't heavily affected by unusually high or unusually low observations. That's why researchers often report a median when the data contains outliers. Then we come down to the mode. So the mode tells us which GPA appears most frequently in the data set. So unlike the mean and median, the mode doesn't calculate an average. Instead, it identifies the most common value. And this measure is particularly useful when you are interested in knowing the response that occurs most often. Now compare the three values. Sometimes they will be very similar. When that happens, it's often a sign that the data are reasonably balanced. In other situations, you will notice that the mean is noticeably different from the median, and that's usually an indication that the dataset contains unusually high or unusually low values, which have influenced the mean. So whenever you see that happening, take a moment to investigate your data before deciding which measure to report. And this is probably the most common question students ask. Which average should I report? So the answer depends on the data. If your data are fairly balanced without extreme values, the mean is usually the most appropriate choice because it uses every observation. And if your data contains outliers or are noticeably skewed, the median often provides a better summary because it represents the middle of the data rather than being influenced by extreme values. And if your research question focuses on the most common responses, the mode is the measure you will normally report. And there is no single best average. So the best measure is the one that represents your data honestly. So let's see how researchers report these findings. And a common mistake is to copy the numbers directly from SPSS. So for example, I don't want you to simply write the mean was 3.38. No. Instead, explain what the statistic tells the reader. And you could probably write the participant had a mean GPA of 3.38, indicating generally good academic performance across the sample. Notice the difference. We are not just reporting a number, we are interpreting it. So the same applies to the median and the mode. Always explain what the value means in relation to the research question. And there are certain common mistakes you need to avoid. Okay. So the first mistake is reporting the mean automatically without checking whether the data contain outliers. And the second is using the mode simply because it appears in the SPSS output, even when it doesn't provide meaningful information for the research question. And another common mistake is copying tables directly from SPSS into a dissertation without explaining the findings. And finally, remember that statistics should always answer a research question. Don't report numbers just because the software calculated them. Ask yourself, what does this result tell me about my participant? If you can answer that question, you are already thinking like a researcher. And yes, we've successfully calculated the mean, the median, and the mode using SPSS. And more importantly, we've seen that each measure has a different purpose, and that selecting the correct one depends on the characteristics of the data rather than personal preference. So we're going to return to our presentation and briefly look at where these skills are used beyond academic research before we summarize today's lesson. Measures of central tendency are used far beyond the classroom. Whether you are working in education, healthcare, business, or government, you often need to summarize data to support decisions. The skills you've learned today are the foundation of data analysis regardless of the software you use. Let's quickly recap. Today we've learned what the mean, median, and mode are, how to calculate them in SPSS, and when each one should be used. And most importantly, you've learned that choosing the right average depends on your data, not personal preference. Before the next lesson, I would like you to practice using another numerical variable in the dataset. Calculate the mean, median, and mode, then write a short interpretation of your findings. Practice is the best way to build confidence. Today, we found the center of our data. In the next lesson, we will answer another important question. How spread out are the values? We will explore measures of variability and learn how they help us understand our data even better. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this lesson helpful, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone who is learning SPSS. I'll see you in the next lesson. Don't just learn SPSS, learn to think like a researcher.